Hey guys, welcome. Today is day 63 and we are going to learn how to divide polynomials. All right, so we're going to start out, if we take 4x to the third plus 8x squared plus 10x and we divide it by 2x, I want you first to write it as a fraction, okay? So take the first trinomial, write the fraction bar here, and then divide by 2x. And then you're going to take that trinomial and break it into individual terms and take each term and divide by, in this case, 2x. So if you look at the example, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and then x to the third divided by x is x squared. So remember, when dividing powers with the same base, we always subtract the exponents. All right, so we're taking each of the terms. We're dividing, though. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and x squared divided by x is x. And 10x divided by 2x would just be 5 because your x's would cancel out. Okay, so looking at the first example that we have here, 18x to the third divided by 6x, I'm going to look first at the coefficients and actually divide. 18 divided by 6 is 3, and x to the third divided by x, remember there's really a 1 there. The rule is we subtract, so we get 3x squared. All right, number 2, we're going to divide each term by -2, so I'm actually going to write it out. I'm going to put each term, I'm going to divide by -2. And then I'm going to treat them individually. -2 divided by -2 is 1, so we're just left with x to the third power for that first term. 6 divided by 2 is a -3, and we would be left with x squared. And 4x divided by 2 would be a -2x, and that would be our answer. All right. Number 3, we're going to do the same thing. This time, though, we're dividing it each term by m to the third, 4m rather. We're dividing by 4m. So 8 divided by 4 is 2, and m to the third divided by m is m squared. -12 divided by 4 is -3, m squared divided by m is just m, and 16 divided by 4 is 4, and the m's would cancel out. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead, and at any point you can, oops, we're dividing by 5y, or -5y rather, there we go. All right, so with number 4, 10 divided by -5 is -2, and our y would be squared because 3 minus 1 is 2. 20 divided by -5 would be -4, and we would have a y, and 55 divided by -5 would be a -11. Okay, so moving on. All right. You can either rewrite this so that you can divide each term. So 12z to the fourth minus 30z squared minus 72z, all divided, whoops, I meant to do each term. And I'm going to undo that little line, and I erase some. So this is a 12, this is a z, and that's a 30. Okay, so we're going to take each term and divide by -6z. All right, so when we do that, we end up with -2z, and that would be to the third power. A +5, and z squared divided by z would just be a z. And then -72 divided by -6 is a +12, and the z's would cancel out. All right, so for 6, this is in a little different format, but the divisor is still 4x, so we can take each term and divide it by 4x. All right, so 12x squared divided by 4x would be 3x, and 20x divided by 4x would be +5. All right, number 7, we're going to take each term and divide it by 8r squared. Pay close attention to the positives and the negatives. So -56 divided by 8 is going to be a -7. So we got -7. And our r would be to the third power, -7r to the third. -64 divided by 8 is a -8. Our r would be squared. -80 divided by 8 is -10, and the r's would cancel out. All right, so again, please at any time, pause the video and try some on your own. Okay, so we're taking each of these terms and dividing it by -9v to the cubed. So this one would be a -7v cubed minus a 5, and that would be v to the first power, and then -9 divided by -9 would be +11, and the v cubes would cancel out. All right, so it works the same way when we have different variables. So we got 6x cubed y. We're dividing each one by, y squared. X cubed y squared, 6x cubed y squared. All right, 18 divided by 6 is 3. X to the fifth divided by x to the third is x squared. And y to the fifth divided by y squared would be y to the third. Negative 24 divided by 6 is negative 4. The x cubes would cancel out and you would have y to the second power. All right, and then 12 divided by 6 is positive 2. The x cubes would cancel out and the y squareds would cancel out. So that would be our final answer. All right, number 10, when we try number 10, negative 2x squared, we're dividing each term by the negative 2x squared. Okay, when we do that, we get a negative 11x squared plus 9, and our x squareds would cancel out. All right, so then we have 6, let's see, 6 divided by negative 2 would be a negative 3. But our x would end up being to the 1 minus 2 is negative 1 power. So we never want to have an answer that has a negative exponent. So we're going to rewrite this as negative 11x squared plus 9 minus 3 and over x. So only that last term would be a fraction. Okay, 11, I'm going to rewrite this and divide by 7xy for each term. All right, so when I do that, I end up with 2. My x would be squared. My y would be to the third power. 21 divided by 7 is 3, and we would get x to the first, and y would be squared. And negative 28 divided by 7 is a negative 4, and our x's would cancel out, but our y, we have y to the first. So that would be our final answer. Okay, I'm going to take 4x cubed minus 16x squared plus 20x, and I'm going to divide each term by negative 4x. Okay, so when I do that, I end up with 4 divided by negative 4 is a negative 1, or just negative, and it would be x to the power of 2, or x squared. Negative 16 divided by negative 4 is positive 4, and it would be x to the first power. And 20 divided by negative 4 would be a negative 5, and the x's would cancel out. All right, so with 13, I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to write this. 20 divided by 5 is 4 VW. Okay, 5 divided by 5 is a negative, so we end up with negative VW squared. And then 10 VW divided by 5 VW is going to be plus 2. All right, I'm going to rewrite this one because I always want my highest exponent to go first. And there's your answer. Okay, and then the last one, we're going to divide each of these by 15x to the third. All right, when we do that, the first term would become 3x. Negative 60 divided by 15 is a negative 4, but our x would be to the negative 1 power. And then we would get 30 divided by 15 is positive 2, and our x would be to the third. So we're going to rewrite this highest exponent, 2x to the third, okay, plus 3x, and it's going to be minus, and we're going to write this as a fraction over x to the 1, or just 4 over x. Okay, so that leads us to our word problems. So polynomial word problems, a lot of times we deal with perimeter and area, okay? So I highly recommend maybe drawing a picture. So in this case, a triangle. So I'm going to draw a triangle. It has 3 sides with the following lengths. So one side is 2x plus 1, one side is 3x plus 5, and one side is 4x minus 1. Now notice it just says units, so we're not saying feet or meters, but it does say the word units, okay? This is going to be important when we get our final answer. Okay, so the perimeter, with the perimeter, all you do is add up all the sides. So we're going to take 2x plus 1, we're going to add 3x plus 5, and then we're going to add 4x minus 1. All right, so when you simplify this, you end up with, you've got 2x plus 3x is 5x, okay, and 5x and 4x is 9x, so we get 9x. 1 plus 5 is 6, minus 1 is 5. So 9x plus 5, and it would just be units. So that would be our answer. Okay, always put your units in the final answer. Perimeter, it's just units, but if it's area, it would be units squared. Okay, so we'll do a couple with area as well. All right, so this one, the octagon, has side lengths that all have a length of y. So an octagon is actually 8 sides. All right, so that's like saying, since they're all the same, they have a length of y, we would just take 8 of these and we would add them together. I'm not going to draw an octagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And actually, easier would just be 8y. So we add them up, we get 8y, and it would be 8y units because we're finding the perimeter. All right, 17. So a square has an unknown length. So if we start out with a square, all right, and it has an unknown length. So let's say it's x for the length and x for the width, okay, because it is a square, they're going to be the same. All right, so if we take the length and we increase it by 11, now we're not going to have a square anymore. We're going to have a rectangle, okay, because we took that side and we added 11. And it says write a simplified algebraic expression for the area of the new rectangle. So the area is the length times the width. So we're going to take our x times x plus 11. And now all we're going to do is distribute this. We get x squared plus 11x. But our area is going to be units squared. All right. Number 18. So for number 18, the width of a rectangle is unknown. Okay, the length of the rectangle is 2 more units than its width. Okay, so let's draw a little rectangle. Okay, we don't know what the width is, so let's let the width be w. All right, the length then is going to be 2 more units than a width, so w plus 2. We want to write a simplified expression for the area of the rectangle in terms of the width w. So in this case, our length is going to be 2 plus width plus 2, and the width is of course just w. Okay, so to get the area, since the area is the length times the width, we're just going to take the length is going to be 2 plus w, and the width is w. All right, so I'm going to rewrite this as w times 2 plus w. I'm just multiplying the two together. So our area is going to be 2w plus w squared. All I did was distribute it. So I'm going to rewrite this as w squared plus 2w, and our units are going to be squared since it's area. Okay, so our area is w squared plus 2w units squared. All right, so this one, the formula for the area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. If the base of the triangle has a length of 8x units, okay, there's our base, and a height, here's our height, is going to be x plus 6. We want to write a simplified algebraic expression for the area again. So they give us the area of 1/2 base times height. So we're going to take 1/2 the base is 8x, and the height is x plus 6. Now we're just going to multiply from left to right. 1/2 of 8x is 4x, or 8x over 2, which is 4x, times x plus 6. And now we can just distribute this. So we're going to get 4x squared plus 24, and again our units will be squared. Units squared. There's our answer. All right, number 20, a rectangle has a length of 5 units and a width of 3 units. Okay, so the width is 3 and the length is 5. If the length and the width are increased by a different unknown amounts, namely named x and y respectively, so we're going to take 5, so we're going to let our length be 5 plus x, okay, because we're going to take that, oops, I did 2 lets. I meant to do, let me erase this. Okay, we're going to let our length be 5 plus x. and our width is going to be 3 plus y. All right, so let's draw it on here. This is 5 plus x. We want to find the area. Okay, well, actually, no, we're finding, let's go. Increased by a different length. Write an simplified algebraic expression for the perimeter. So this is the perimeter. So for the perimeter, we add up all the sides. So in our picture, let's just add in 5 plus x across from it and 3 plus y. So to get the perimeter, we're just going to add all the sides together. So we could do it a couple of different ways. We could either say perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. All right, or we could say the perimeter is just adding them all up, which I'll show you this way here. We take 5 plus x plus 3 plus y plus 5 plus x plus 3 plus y. All right, you add it all up and you're going to find out that your perimeter is actually going to be, we've got how many x's? 2 x's. When we combine our like terms, we've got 2 y's, and our constant would be 16. So our perimeter would just be units. It's not units squared. That's only for area, because when you're multiplying. Okay, so that would be it. Bye.